fat.
Here he is.
Mouth watering.
Hey.
Sit next to you, girl.
Yeah, squeeze on in, everyone. Squeeze on in. Hello, sir. How are you? Can you hear us?
Hey, how's it going? I can hear you. I can't see you, but how are you?
No. The one thing, the limitation we have with Zoom is because we're using the camera onto the live stream, we can't duplicate it into the Zoom stream.
I'm connected.
But we've got you.
Oh, there he is. There he is. First of all, don't call him. Us Kelvins don't like being called Kelvin. He likes to be called Casey.
KC, mate.
Or KC. Hey, bro.
Yeah, KC's good, guys. Are you all well?
Yeah, very well.
Very well.
It,
So
seems,
for those-
it seems a bit weird talking to a blank screen, but...
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Kia ora anyway from the Bay of Islands, fellas. How's it?
Oh, Bay of Islands.
Bay of Islands.
Oh,
That's just as nice as Palmy. Nearly as nice as Palmy.
Oh,
A little bit more sun.
it's just as beautiful as Palmy, that's for sure, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you.
So for those who don't know, I mean, where have you been? But we'll say KC, Kelvin Cruickshank, is probably in this country, or for me, best well known from Sensei Murder.
Yes.
But of course, you're way more than that. Of course, you tour. You're a vigorous tourer, aren't you? Like you're always around the country. I always see your name pop up places.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty much... I work all over New Zealand, overseas as well. Obviously, since COVID sort of, strained us. I see the young lady that's on there, that's the farmer there, the co-host.
Yeah.
You don't have a bloody clue who I am, so how's it young lady?
Sorry.
Wow, how's he's been listening for a minute?
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
She
It
speaks.
rings a bell, but I'm just like, oh.
Bro, true story. So yesterday evening, my daughter and I we went to Hell's Pizza. Morgan rings me, and he's like, who was the last person that came to slip into your DMs? I'm like, well, remember Kelvin Cruickshank, his PA or something, said, he might be interested. That was a few hours ago. And we started talking about how Kelvin had that Kelvin Cruickshank joke, and then I got a private number calling me. I was like, bro, I've got a call coming through. I'll call you back. And then hello, Kelvin speaking here. He's like, hello, Kelvin. It's Kelvin Cruickshank here. I was like, fuck, I was just talking about you. And it was a 2 second pause. 2 second pause. He's like, I know. I was like, fuck
I
that.
didn't say Kelvin Cruickshank, you went, because I figured your name was Kelvin, so I was like, hi, Kelvin, you go. Hi, Kelvin speaking. I said, hi, Kelvin, it's Kelvin.
Yeah, and I was like, I was just talking about you. He's
I
like,
thought
I
it was
know.
funny too, man.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it was a good yarn, man. You again, someone who's so down to earth, so likable, so much that you're so passionate about supporting this cause. I mean, seeing you after what happened, obviously, with Mike King on the Rock, for you, so that video you sent out where you were just, your heart was on your sleeve and whatnot, and I was actually meant to call you or text you today because you said something about, which I have not, out of that yarn that we'll talk about, 20 minutes we're talking, there's one thing that you said in particular, I can't fucking get out of my head. It was when you were about to upload the video, it wouldn't upload for 3 hours. You took something out of that video, it instantly went through. Can you, because I don't like divulging what we talk about on the phone with there, so I thought I'd sort of lay that out there, if you could sort of relay what you said to me.
I can run through that piece of
Yeah,
cake.
mate.
Basically,
It's
I obviously saw Mike have his cordial on the Rock, and as a lot of us did. And, we work and help out Mike as much as we can. And again, of course, this year with our Pay It Forward show, it's for Mike and I Am Hope. And we haven't been able to do much over the COVID, right? So when I saw Mike breaking, and, this is a man who I admire, I've always respected, and he's just a bloody awesome guy. And I saw him snapping, and I just can't, I just don't want anybody like Mike to fall, we get tired, we get exhausted. And so I took myself up into a local cemetery and made a video about our kids and what actually happens to them when they don't get support. They basically end up there, and it was pretty rough, but it's a fact. So I said a sentence in there about all I used was a word, and the word was PM. The fact that the PM, has children, they'll eventually grow up one day and become teenagers, and they'll struggle through certain things, and if there's nothing there for them, what's going to happen? It wasn't negative at all. Yeah. But we tried to upload the video, and we did it twice, and it didn't happen, and then we sat there for 3 hours thinking it might have been a Wi-Fi feed loss or something. And then I started thinking maybe it's because I said PM. So I actually edited the video and cut that 10-second segment out. And it instantly, oh my God, it just instantly went straight on Facebook.
What does that say? Who's watching? Who's listening? Who's overseeing all this shit? 'Cause that
FBI,
has
man.
fucked with me since you said that.
I don't know if it's
really,
that or is it just fate? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it just that was meant to happen? You know?
I don't know, dude.
Oh, I don't know, man.
That stinks. That stinks to me, man.
I just think it's just shit, really, to be honest. I think there's a lot of things that could be improved, and you know, you look at somebody like Mike, and you guys even, what you guys are doing, having a koreo about how we're feeling, about what's going on and stuff like that. What you guys are doing is great. So, you know, we're all in a as a team because we've all been down that track. We've been blessed to be able to, I guess, fight our way out of it. Yeah. And I know my own whānau. I just had a suicide two and a half weeks ago, my own whānau. And
so we mind who it was or someone close to you, brother?
It's been pretty rough. And it's not my first rodeo with it too, bro. I've lost quite a few mates to it as well. And it's just people like I Am Hope, Mike and all this team and that, man. If we don't have them, our kids are just going to suffer immensely. So my duty is to learn or to help people understand how to communicate, bro, you know? And there's not a lot of communication going on out there.
Would you say that's your special? Because in terms of run through, so you toured Australasia, right? So what exactly is a Kelvin Cruickshank show?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay, so basically, I'm a medium, right? So my job is to communicate with those people, our wairua, our tupuna, our whānau that have passed, and just sort of talk to them, and like I'm talking to you guys, even though you're alive, just relay the messages from spirit, basically.
Yeah. And so keep going.
Sorry.
I was going to say, so is that all the show, or is there more to it, or like is it just about connecting with people and
it really is about learning and stuff, eh? You know, like everyone dreams, bro. Everyone has the ability to see their spirit or remember their people. So when I think of someone who's passed, they stand with me. And so I've just taken that rule of thumb and just developed it. The difference between myself and you guys is I can see your people when they want me to see them to be able to relay what they're saying. Wow. So
right, you turn it on, turn it off. You're not sitting there looking like, oh, I can see just your guides and your family that pass around you. It's not because I'm sure you cop a lot of shit from the people that just don't believe or think there's a crock of shit. The non-believers, that kooky crap, and that bloody you see bloody dead people and ghosts. Are they?
All right, Kels, jeez.
No, that's why I'm putting that voice on, because I'm trying to. Because I don't, I'm Polynesian. We are the exact opposite of that voice. But I'm just saying, you must cop that a lot, surely. Like, even in this day and age, am I wrong? Like, everyone's on board with.
No, I used to.
Frozen for a second.
Used to cop heaps of that, but I'm sorry, but I am who I am. Where there is love, there's a connection. Boards and get stoned and get into a sesh. We don't do any of that. We just work with the love, bro. That's just the way it works. So what you guys won't know is Sensei Murder was a show we did here in New Zealand, which was I think it was definitely the highest rating reality TV series ever in the country. It still stands today.
Must watch TV.
And the problem with that was, you get started on the job and then you get told, nah, can't go any further. And it was like, let me finish my job. So I got really frustrated with not being able to do the mahi. So I ended up getting invited to America by a Hollywood company and in Los Angeles. And I've been working with them for 7 years now in Homicide with detectives, forensic scientists, cadaver dogs. And man, it's epic. I love it. It's horrible, it's scary, but I love the results.
Yeah, because Casey, I'm not gonna lie. Like when Sensei Murder first came on, my wife introduced it to me. You know what I mean? She's like, "Hey, let's check this out." And at first I was that guy, like Kels was like, "Come on." Right, and then watching it, honestly, I think by episode 2, I was like,
how could it all be a coincidence?
It was like between you and the other mediums on the show, like you guys were just amazing, and I was like, these guys, like you won us. You know what I mean? Well, you won me.
There were times where it must have got overwhelmed. There were times where can we shut off cameras? This is getting really overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because you talk about communication, love, and feelings, and those feelings that you get, is it just so overwhelming when you're dealing with homicide, especially?
Yeah.
Does it get to a point where you're I just need to shut down for a sec because this is getting too much?
I had to be honest with you fellas. I've had a few meltdowns and a few breakdowns over it, especially with the children.
Oh yeah.
Always really, really tough. But anybody who takes another person violently, and you have to go back into the scenario about how it happened, what was the cause, all those things. Gee whiz, it's mentally draining, really tough. And I guess that's why I sort of lost the plot the other day when I was talking about helping out Mike. And Angel can't fly with one wing, and that's why us Kiwis have to get in behind him in Gumboot Friday, which is today. And of course, all the other things that we're doing right up, we just continue to give them as much funds as possible. Yeah. So the point that I'm trying to make is that for me, seeing all this stuff that I see, you get used to it, but you don't. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does, but it's still I just can't imagine it must be so hard sometimes. And I'm with you. My wife is a true crime type of person. You know what I mean? She loves that CI channel, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we'll be watching it together, and as soon as it's about kids, I have to leave the room because it's too much for me. I just can't. Sorry, I can't see children getting hurt, and I get really emotional sometimes. Especially there's one particular story. She knows which one too, and every time she brings it up, I'm just like no. And I really applaud what you do and the way you way you help whānaus. Do you know what I mean? Like have a bit of closure, a bit of sense of relief, or whatever whatever they're going through. You help guide them a little bit, so there's a little bit of peace in their hearts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. Oh, absolutely. I think, guys, the biggest thing, what I do in the States is child trafficking. And
it's so, wow.
Yeah. And I don't want to say the word, but pedophiles and stuff like that, we track them down and we catch them. And it's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
The hardness of it is
they what gets you through those tough times where you're just I can't do this. Is that what gets you through? The fact that you're going to help families and catch someone who should not be on the loose? Is that what get you through those hard moments where you just this sucks? But
I've been on the receiving end of those sorts of things when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I don't, like most people, some people, a lot of people have a wonderful life. I've had an amazing life, but I've also had some horrificness in it too. And this whole scenario with Gumboot Friday is about mental health, and I'm one of those guys that has survived it, and I'm very grateful to have
survived. Can you elaborate on that more, bro? You survived mental health.
I've survived it because I didn't believe in myself, and I gave up on me because I thought it was worthless. So I now believe in me, and it's thanks to people like Mike King that's helped me and he's inspired me to continue my money.
Beautiful, bro, because I'm in that boat. It's that a lot of men, that self-deprecation, that hey, I'm not worth spit, I'm not worth time of day, and you got through that, bro. How long ago was that when you were feeling like that, if you don't mind me asking?
It's been periodic through my life. When I was a teenager, it was very, very tough. In my teens, it was really, really, really tough. I hit the wall at 28. As a bloke as well, I just completely hit the wall at 28, had a complete meltdown, breakdown scenario. Visited a few interesting parts of the hospital. I got told to take certain medication to stop me from seeing a wairua. And it made me very, very sick, and I OD'd on it quite a few times, and twice, and then I tried to take myself off the stuff cold turkey and OD'd again. Flatlined again. So my story is pretty out the gate stuff. But it's all because people were frightened of the person who sees dead people. And now, I'm working all over the world, bro, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's incredibly hard, but I love it because we have results. And that's what counts, I guess.
That adversity that you went through, that pain, that trauma, you've used that to now create positive change, bro. That is so cool.
It's amazing.
Well, can I just add to that, boys? I believe in flipping the coin, and just so that our listeners, your listeners, can understand my kōrero is, every bad thing I've ever gone through, I've turned it into a positive.
Great.
So when I was younger, I was hurt quite severely, and I ended up wanting to change, or I was perhaps wondering why on earth that happened to me. And so instead of beating myself up, blaming myself constantly, I figured maybe just one day I might be able to help somebody who's experienced the same thing and help them pull themselves through.
Yeah.
And so I take the darker side of the coin and flip it to the bright side. And so every experience I've ever had has somehow, in some way, shape, or form, helped others.
And that's why you're a leader, bro. That's why you're right. You talk about being Mike King, being someone who you look up to, but we look up to you, bro. That's what I do. That's hearing you talk about that. It's quite close. It's quite close to home, bro, what you're saying, because perhaps I'm going through one or two of those things at present, and to see someone who, like you said, you leant into the bomb, you took the bull by the horns, you like, I'm going through this shit, but I'm going to make it into something positive, and you did it over and over again. That's so beautiful, bro. That's tough. That's cool. I don't know.
I look at your, sorry, sweetie, I'll just say this. I look at before you jump, I look at your, your what your show's called, and I was at a point where I was about to jump, if you like, and something happened to me. This voice, which was just beautiful, said, all I heard was, "What about your son?" And everything I've ever done, towards pushing myself is because of my children. And I was at my son's wedding on Monday on Halloween.
Oh,
so,
my God.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well
So
done, little
it's
Casey.
been a pretty amazing journey.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's honestly, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really want to ask you this, but I don't want to leave where we are.
Well, I was going to ask like a really dark question too, but
Go for it. You go.
Oh,
for
go
it.
ahead, just ask away.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, do you still get like those days where you just self-doubt yourself, or kind of like thing, or
Yep.
yeah?
Yeah, I've had one of those days today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just bugger day. You just get so tired, and I think if we can't find our balance, when we do stop, it hits us, and I'm all about finding the balance. Balance for me is doing my mahi, helping others, of course, and then going for a fish or a hunt or something, and I haven't been able to do those two things for quite a while, so I've actually
That'll do it.
literally just stopped the last 2 days, and today I've sort of been going, oh my God, I'm so blur.
Yeah.
But
the first
I
thing you
was
said
looking
was
forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool, man.
so you help others, because I know for me, I may not be able to love myself or like myself or what have you, or make myself happy or smile, but I know I can make people around me happy and smile, which therein is my therapy. You take that away, I'm a bit lost. Not only have you taken that away, you haven't been able to do that lately, but you've also just said hunting, fishing, so you've also circled things that you're personally like makes you happy. Like you haven't been able to do those two things. So what are you doing tomorrow, bro? What are you doing? I mean, you're gonna go for a hunt. You're gonna go for a fish, bro. Like,
it's the
Because
weekend.
you're for a date, Kels.
I'm just saying. I'm not going for a date. Casey, Bay of I was only kidding before about as near as nice as Palmy. Like Bay of Islands is beautiful.
Oh, Bay of Islands rocks.
I'm just saying that you've done the first thing. You've ticked the first box because you've made us very happy and proud that you're talking to us and taking the time of day. All you need is a hunt or a fish, brother, and you'll be back. Balance.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm actually going to sight one of my guns in it tomorrow out on mate's farm, so I'll throw a few bullets at a target, bro. I'll be happy.
There you go, bro. There you go. That's cool.
Casey, can I ask you a question? I've always wanted to ask you this in particular, because and again, I was introduced to you by Sensei Murder, and I still love that show. Like, in fact, not even a few months ago, me and my wife were going, God, I wish they would bring that back. Ever since, she had her favourite and you were kind of mine, when did you find out, you had this gift? You know what I mean? Like, when did this first start happening? And but also I want to know, what was the impact just on you? Because you mentioned before, you said you were young, 28, when something happened. And I was like, oh, wow, I kind of... how long ago did this start happening?
Oh, well, the easy, I'll try and summarise it for you.
Yeah.
I've been able to see dead people since I was a child.
Yeah.
And the whole sequence was to keep it close, because if I ever spoke out about it, I'd simply be locked in my room because my folks couldn't cope, or I'd get the backhand and get told to get the hell out because you're freaking us out. That sort of shit. So I went from that. I had a lot of trouble in my youth as far as schooling went. Just because I was an outsider different, I was very sensitive to other people, and I would know what they were going to do before they did it. So I'd know if I was going to get the bash just because I was standing beside the drinking fountain. I knew it was coming. So I sort of shied away from reality and just sort of went into my own world. And then, of course, in my late teens, I went and just decided that if I could keep my mind busy, I wouldn't have to see the dead people. So I became a chef and worked phenomenal hours. And, you know, just no days off, man, just like a farmer, 24/7, mate, just going hard out. And by 28, Spirit really wanted me to work for them, so they put me on my ass. And the people that I was involved with at the time couldn't cope because of their different beliefs. And so it was, you know, like I said, you put on the medication and stuff, which didn't even work. So it didn't stop them coming, man. So I was quite young.
Wow. And that must have been such a hard experience to accept. Do you know what I mean? Like, accept this was happening? Or was it kind of, because it's always been there, it was just kind of like, well, this is who I am?
I think for me, it was trying to figure out the difference between positive and negative. Okay. And I think a lot of people have that same genre. So there's, like I said to you about some simple keys, mental health-wise, is that if you're struggling with grief, because grief is a big, powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether it's just a separation of a mum and dad, and I mean just separation, you know, divorce, that sort of thing, loss of a partner just through separation, or the kids, you know, your own children, your missus splits up, that's a separation, that's all grief. Of course, losing someone we love to them passing on is even bigger grief. What I think is that when I think of someone I love that's passed, they stand with me, but I'm not frightened of them because they still love me. They haven't stopped loving me. And so I'm not alone. And I think that it's really important for people to acknowledge that if you're thinking negatively about yourself every day, write something on the stand-up shower wall that's positive about you. Every single day, no matter how bad your shitty day is or how hard it is mentally, just write, I'm okay, or I'm doing fine, I look good, or whatever you feel, but it cannot be anything negative. And that's what saved myself, basically, just drawing on the shower wall every day. Even if it was hard, I just did it and I pulled myself through.
Wow.
I feel a lot with that grief. Like, I'm trying not to cry.
Me too.
Yeah.
It is. It's beautiful. Like what you just said about, you know, they're standing next to you is really like I lost some really important people to me this year, and so to hear that, to hear that is just so empowering. Like you're still there. Do you know what I mean?
Casey, gonna make the three of us cry.
Oh,
bro.
you're killing us.
Yeah. Well,
Is that your intention? You want three of us? Just before I go, guys, I'm gonna let you guys cry. And 1, 2, 3, and there we go. I'm peace out. I'm peace out.
Yeah. Mine's also hard because next week will be the 1 year.
Oh.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm actually going back home and seeing the family, and we're actually having a good catch up. But even that one was really hard. And
the 1 year is often quite. You go into it like daunting, but it's enough time under water under the bridge to share, to celebrate instead of mourn. You know, with Dad, like after the 1 year, it still sucked, but it was more. Remember when he did this? Remember Dad did this? Like it's enough time to celebrate instead of mourn. You'll find, especially when you guys get together. So it'll be good. It'll be good.
You know, the other thing to add to that, guys, is you just touched on something within me. When we go, we've got to remember. You asked me about my shows. My shows aren't a tangi. They're not the funeral. Okay, they're a celebration. Yeah. And like what you're discussing now about going home and just remembering and letting the pain out so you can heal. Let the tears come, let the conversations flow, let the laughs come through, let the everything just come out and communicating across the board with the grief is the key to it. It's bloody hard to discuss it, but it's important because if you run away from it, it's going to come back bite you on the ass. So the idea is like your co-host, I couldn't catch the girl's name, but
Tracy,
you're exactly right. when you speak about having a conversation about reflection, I often set tables for my family.
Wow.
You know, at Christmas time, I set placemats, and then we start having a good old cry at Christmas time. It's great.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man.
You've mentioned it a few times throughout this yarn, is teaching people how to communicate. And you see that again and again and again. So, I mean, you're a leader, brother.
Yeah,
honestly,
thank you so much for coming on.
Would you know when you're in Palmy next, by the way, just off the cuff? Or
Palmy, unless I get invited down there for a hunt, I won't be down there until some money next year.
Oh, I was actually asking for my mum. Just said message. Ask him when he's coming to Palmy next. That was from my mum, by the way, not me. So.
Hi, Mum.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Well, you got a big night ahead of you, and thank you for what you guys did too, eh?
No, thanks, you, bro.
Man.
Thank you for taking the time, honestly. It's
Beautiful.
Blessing.
It's something, yeah, man, I'm so glad to meet you because, like, you're such a cool dude. And like I said, like, you turned me around, like, years ago, you know, like all those years ago, you turned me around. So, I mean, you and the rest, you know, the ladies on the show, do you know what I mean?
Is it Sue Nicholson?
Sue Nicholson, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was yeah, man.
Hey, just before we shoot off, can you see that? Can you see that little round circle?
Yeah, totally.
What that says, it's actually, you probably won't be able to see it. What it says, let your Wairua shine.
Oh, cool.
Shine, brother.
So let your Wairua inside of you. You are Wairua. We are all spirit, right? So let it shine, people. Let it shine.
Let it shine on, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
The time.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No worries. Good luck with your 24 hours.
See you
Thanks,
later.
man.
See you later, Kelvin.
See you, dudes.
All right, brother.
See ya.
Be good.
Bye.
Later,
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.
Later, bro.
That was cool.